Hello, OCN, what's up? This is Lord Zeb here. I'm going to show you guys how to use a little program here called RStudio. It's actually a pretty nice little data recovery program. For the most part, from what I have seen in the past, it's been able to go in and get data off of drives that absolutely refuse to mount because of either the partition table on it is messed up or there's just too many bad sectors. You can simply scan the drive. You just click scan, or well, you make sure that you select the drive that you want to scan. You click scan, and you go in and you let it scan, and it'll go through and it'll find where all the data is located on the drive, regardless of how bad the partition table is messed up on that drive, or if there's bad blocks located right in the middle of the metadata, and just making the drive not being able to go and be recognized. It's actually a really powerful tool. Right now, I have a drive hooked up that has a bad partition table on it. It actually crapped out on me about 2 days ago. I'm currently just going to play with it. I've already recovered the data off, but I'm going to show you guys basically what you do. First off, you select the drive, select scan, and then here, if you go and you normally select a drive, it's going to show up as 0 megabytes, and it's going to go all the way up to the maximum size of the drive. The best way to go and make this thing go as fast as possible is you deselect or you unselect all these except for the partition that you know is on that drive. If you have the format that's on that drive, if you don't know what format it is, just leave everything checked, and it'll go through and it'll look for whatever is on there. Down here is just simply how fast the drive is going to scan. Generally, I like to go and see what's going on, so I leave it as detailed. But if I'm kind of in a rush, I'll just leave it as none and then just let it go. And then you just click scan, although you can go through here and do a few other things, but I don't really bother. This is especially handy if like the partition on it is offset or or whatnot, but I really haven't messed with much here, and normally you don't even have to go and touch this. Just click scan, ignore this, click continue, and then it's just going to go through and it's going to scan the entire drive, and any kind of errors that it finds, it's going to go and report right up here. And then you just basically wait until it's done. Alright, once the scan is done, you should get something like this. You go in, you click on the drive, let it go and do its thing, let it open up after it's scanned. Sorry, I've been sick for the past couple days. And then from there, you're able to go and see the entire contents of the drive. Now, on mine, I have a whole bunch of disk images, which I actually use for work, but unfortunately, I had them stored on this drive, which decided to go and tank itself, which was somewhat inconvenient. Anyways, what you do is you go in, you select the folder or folders, or you can just go and select root, which will go and recover everything on the drive. Select that, and then you click, everything else you want, etc., 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 etc. And you click recovered marked. Now, there's an option here that you can do is you can skip files with bad sectors. Now, that is handy if you just need to go and get the data off the drive and you don't really care what you get. Like if the drive is in really bad shape, you just want to get something off of it, you can click that. Otherwise, you leave that unclicked, and what it's going to do is RStudio is going to sit there and it's going to read the bloody hell out of the drive until it gets something out of that bad sector, and then move on. This can potentially take a very, very long time, especially if the drive's in bad shape. Once you go in and you have all that, you can select a destination as to where it is. Make sure you have a big enough destination, because I've seen it where it decided to go and unpack files. Yeah, I don't care. You just go and select it, put it on the destination, and just let it do its thing. Here I'm just going to go in and find a destination. Actually, I can't do it there. Let's say I'll just create a new folder. Yeah, whatever. I'll just put it on the root. It doesn't really matter. You click OK, and then it's going to go in and it's going to start recovering data. You'll see a progress bar, and down here, if it goes and hits any kind of bad blocks, it'll start throwing off all kinds of messages and stuff, saying like input-output error or anything like that. That's to be expected, especially if a drive is failing. I've seen it where it gives off some really funky stuff. I've seen it where RStudio has decided to go and do some really strange things. The drive has done some strange things. But in general, you just kind of gotta let it sit and hope the drive doesn't die in the middle of going using RStudio. And it's kind of, and generally I don't like using software to do data recovery because it can be quite intensive. If you have access to something such as like an actual data recovery facility where they have like something from Salvation Data, such as what is it called? I'm drawing a blank here. Such as a drive compass, which can go in and actually manipulate the entire part of the drive. Like, let's say if one of the heads is bad, it can actually shut off one of the heads, or you can manipulate the heads however you want. You can go in and put it at different positions in the drive. You can make the drive read backwards. You can make it go and do all kinds of crazy things. Fortunately, that takes a lot of skill, but it is very handy if you know a company that has a hold of one of those. And generally, when they do have those, they can get a hold of the data relatively easily. Well, not necessarily easy. It can still take several weeks, but at least you're not paying an arm and leg for like sending the drive out to like drive savers where they're actually replacing whatever part is bad, or actually taking the drive apart. Let's say the heads on it are dirty, or there's damaged heads. They'll actually clean the head stack or even replace it to go in and get the data off the drive. I've seen them where spindle motors have gone and seized up. They replaced bearings. They do some pretty impressive stuff over at Drive Savers. And I just want to go and also mention that you never ever open up a drive, ever. For God's sakes, don't open up a drive if you need to get the data off. That is the last thing you want to do. You can actually prevent yourself from ever getting that data back. Let professionals go and handle it. You just don't open drives. And you also want to be very careful about going in and doing PCB swaps, which I plan on making a thread later on to go in more detail about that. Anyways, this is just a really simple introduction into RStudio. I'm relatively new to it, so I've been going in and just playing with it in general. Once I know more about it, I'll make some more videos and show you guys some pretty cool tricks, such as being able to go and build virtual RAIDs for when your RAIDs fail, and then recover data off of RAIDs. It's pretty powerful stuff. You can even go and make images off of parts and pieces of a disk. If you know like your data is on a certain sector or a certain section of the disk, you can make entire images of just that part. It's some pretty nice stuff. Again, if you guys have any kind of questions, feel free to go and post your answers or send me a PM or any of that. And I'm just going to go and call it quits for today. Enjoy.